Star Wars only. I don't know what the fuck your problem is.
The writer-director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, is promoting his new film, Knives Out, and he did an interview with TheObserver.com, and they asked him about his upcoming projects with Star Wars. He has his own Star Wars trilogy that was announced, I believe, back in 2017, and that still seems to be going on sometime in the next 5 to 10 years. We have no release date for it yet, but he talks about his approach for it again in this new interview. And here's what Rian has to say about his upcoming trilogy. He says, "I think that the fun and challenging part of it is to dive in, figure out what's exciting, and then figure out what it's going to be. We're doing something that steps beyond the legacy characters. What does that look like? To me, the blue sky element of it is what was most striking about it. I know the way that I'm coming at it, and what's fun about it for everyone in Lucasfilm is figuring out what's the next step. It really makes you think and figure out what the essence of Star Wars is for me and what that will look like moving forward." And I think that's a good quote right there, stepping beyond the legacy characters. I think that was one of the biggest problems that Rian Johnson had with The Last Jedi in terms of the story that he told. I wasn't a fan of the movie, and I think a large part of that had to do with the fact that he was dealing with legacy characters like Luke Skywalker and the Skywalker name in Jedi itself. I think if he's going beyond that, let's say in the future of the Star Wars franchise, beyond Episode 9, into the future of that, then possibly you could have some stories and wiggle room to play around with if it's characters we've never seen before. I wouldn't mind if it was even 30 or 40, 50 years before the films we've seen, as long as it's a different part of the galaxy. I like the idea that he's going to a different part of the Star Wars universe. I know a lot of fans are not excited about his new trilogy. I'm cautious, but I think Rian Johnson is overall a good director. I'm just surprised that he's still writing these films, but he's only writing the very first one of this trilogy. I wonder who's going to direct the other two films. I wonder who's going to write the other two films. Wonder what he's going to do with this trilogy and when it's going to come out. There's a lot of questions we still have about this film, or even this, not just film, this trilogy. I mean, there's 3 films coming out from Rian Johnson and 3 films coming from David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the creators of Game of Thrones. That's a lot of films coming out for Star Wars. 6 in total. And one of them is going to be written and directed by Rian Johnson. The very first one of his trilogy is going to be written and directed by him. Who is he going to bring on for the director's chair afterwards? Does he have a say in that, or is that something that Lucasfilm is going to have a say in? Is he doing a story treatment for all 3 of the films, or is he just going to start it off? And also, my big thing is he going to have a co-writer for his first film? I think that's the big thing Rian needs. I think he just needs someone to write the screenplay or just co-write with him on the story, because The Last Jedi had its moments, and for a lot of people it didn't have its moments in terms of story. I think you need to bring someone else in to kind of help Rian out a little bit there, but that's just my personal opinion. Tell me your thoughts though. What do you think about this? I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of interested in where he's going with this new trilogy, personally, just because it's new stuff. It's new content in the Star Wars universe. That's something we've never seen, and I like that idea. I like the idea of going to a planet, going to a section of the timeline that we've never been to. There's so many possibilities in the Star Wars universe. There's so much potential. I feel like we've kind of wasted it on what the stories we've told in the sequel trilogy, and that's not a knock on the sequel trilogy. I just feel like it went in a direction that a lot of fans were like, well, that was kind of the last direction we really wanted you to go in. There's so many other directions you could have gone in as well, and I think a lot of us are going to be excited to see something new. Even though it's coming from Rian Johnson, that's going to be a big turnoff for a lot of Star Wars fans, in my opinion. I think there's going to be a large part of the fandom that is not going to forgive him for The Last Jedi. But if it's a well-made film, I think everyone's going to give it credit where credit is due. At least I would hope so, but only time will tell, and at the moment we got nothing but time to wait on his trilogy. And it seems to be going on right now. He's talking about it. Knives Out is coming out, I believe, in November. Should I watch that and review it for you guys? I'm not sure if anybody would want a review about that since it is Star Wars only, but he's making his own trilogy. Like, right after this Knives Out movie, he's going into his own Star Wars trilogy. It seems kind of fair to review his movie, but I'm only going to do it if you guys want me to. It could be a separate video that we do, something special for that. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts below. Are you going to watch his new movie, Knives Out, when that comes out? Are you excited for his new trilogy? And what are your thoughts about his approach to his new trilogy? Tell me your thoughts below. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Star Wars Only. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all next time, and may the Force be with you always.